Yeah, hi. So I've been into the banking sector as an economist for quite some time now, over 28 years. Very exciting role because what you learn in the classroom as far as economics is concerned, all of that you get to apply in the practicing world. So it's very important for, say, instance, corporates to understand where the interest rates are headed, where the exchange rates, that is the rupee dollar exchange rate, is headed, how is the growth in the economy looking, what is the global scenario as far as economics is concerned. So an economist role typically is one that of scanning the macroeconomic landscape both in India and globally, analyzing it very carefully and enable oneself to give some forecast, some direction to the business leaders so that they can take informed decisions. So to put it in a nutshell, I think we become the channels through which the business decisions look smarter. Right from beginning, right from school, economics always got me excited. I mean, it was so close to reality. We actually are practicing economics day in and day out in our normal behavior. So even like things of diminishing marginal utility, you're practicing day in, day out. If I consume first unit of product, my utility or satisfaction is maximum. If I use the same similar product the second time, the degree of satisfaction reduces. So that's your diminishing marginal utility principle. That's exactly what the practicing economics is concerned, and that's what got me excited. Having said, I did my post-graduation and then my PhD dissertation in capital markets. Was into academics, but what really excited me is how what I have learnt in the classroom becomes useful in the practicing world. And you have to learn a lot, because what traditionally you learn in the classroom is not exactly what you get to practice. You have to all the time alter, customize your decision making, your analytical skills based on the dynamic world, dynamic changes across, and that's what becomes most challenging and satisfying as a role of economist in the practicing world. Day schedule obviously has to start with reading and more reading. You have to scan everything that's happened. You obviously, I'm being a slightly old timer, so I do like to read my hard copies of newspapers, business papers. But more importantly, the fast changing world also prompts you to be reading online and, looking at markets, looking at all the commentaries, not just from the market, but even from politics, because what happens at various political levels also has its repercussions and impact on the markets, on the economies of the world. So reading is the first thing that I start off with. I get to office, I sit with my team, and we decide about the activities planned for the day in terms of writing research reports, doing analytics, because we have a lot of data to deal with, small data, big data, behavioral data. All of that we absorb, analyze, produce reports, produce the outcomes in numbers, and that's where we start sharing our results analysis with all the stakeholders within my bank. Yes Bank is a very young bank. Its average age is 30, and they're all eager to absorb the knowledge of what's happening in the economy so that they can deploy all that information to their business decisions when they're talking to their clients, corporate clients or institutions. All of what's happening in the economy becomes extremely useful tool for not just furthering business, but being able to give smarter decisions. Get a basic degree and a post-graduation preferably into economics. Having said, economics and finance are today, have a lot of parallel process and commonality in terms of scope of subject. So economics and finance, and perhaps you would be, seeking the best combination. I have done my PhD. A discipline of PhD always helps because you are able to grasp the data very well. You're able to organize your thought process very well, and right from problem identification to resolution of problem, a disciplined thinking helps. And to me, the PhD process trains you very naturally for that process to come to you. Scope of fungibility now, because train your mind. This is a very dynamic field, dynamic subject, and that is where open mind becomes extremely important. You may have had access to data, you have analyzed it, but every data, every analysis has the other side to it. So you may hold a view, but that view could also have a different interpretation. And that is the reason I feel the biggest softer skill that you should have is open mind, adaptability, how to use the information and numbers to be able to arrive at a very informed outcome and decisions. I think that is one soft skill. The second soft skill is interaction. You're always not just working as a solo economist, but different teams, because at the end of the day, what you produce in terms of research is also going to be used by someone, either for your business decision making or any decision making, even a CEO for that matter. So it's very important to have a skill where you're able to convey what you have analyzed and understood in a manner that is well understood by the person you're sending it to. You can't just say that I'm right and everyone else is wrong. In economics particularly, I always say that there is no right or wrong. There is a one view versus the other view. End users could be everyone, right? From academic students to businesses, to my colleagues in the banking sector who are either in the financial markets, who are forex traders or money market dealers and traders, to my corporate colleagues of the relationship function. They go have an interface, direct interface with the corporate clients. They need to tell them, in a very informed manner what's happening in the economy. So within the organization, I have all these people. It's very important for economists to be a part of a strategy team, because economists can look forward much ahead of others in terms of how the shape of economy will be, not just a year or later, 2 years later, but even 5 years, 10 years later down the line. It's not just perform the function of telling or informing or sharing their outcomes with the colleagues, but also as to a CEO or to a strategist, the inputs become very, very critical in coming to, I always like to say, informed business decisions. I think we've been able to, as economists in the bank as well, collectively, led by economics research, but I emphasize the word collectively, been able to turn something like gold, which is unproductive, into a productive use. It becomes very satisfying when the government and the policymakers use your research to form the basis of what they are planning to do, say with gold as a product, and how to make it more economically productive. If, for instance, as an economist I'm talking and as a policymaker I'm talking, I will know exactly where the subsidies need to go. I can exactly design my product along the target audience that my product is supposed to be offered at, even as a bank. If I'm helping my retail colleagues, retail banking colleagues, the big data helps me design the product in a manner in which I know that you as my customer are going to be completely satisfied with what product I design and offer to you, based on your risk appetite, your risk-taking capabilities, or you are a conservative saver, conservative investor. All these big data help you churn, the numbers in a much more smarter way, with very, very precise and specific outcomes, which at the end of the day are always better than a general, one cap fits all kind of decision making. So big data is very critical going forward. Pros is never-ending excitement, never a dull moment. You come in the morning, you read everything that's happened overnight in the global markets, you see what's happening along the day in the markets, elsewhere in the policy making sphere, etc., and how you can best utilize all of this information into your analytics. So the pros is supremely exciting time. You never age in this work, in this sphere, because you're all the time on your toes learning. And learning always keeps you young, so you can never say that, okay, I know everything and now I'm only going to share what I have learned. The glamour bit, but it's sometimes it drains your energy. You need to take a break of a short week or so, if I can informally say so, and recharge your batteries and come back. And yes, as an honest analyst, sometimes if your decision, you can't be right all the time. Sometimes when your research goes not exactly the way you had anticipated, and it leads to some kind of a setback for business, God forbid, but that luckily it hasn't happened so far, but that is the risk. If something goes wrong, then you end up feeling that, oh, should I have analyzed it better? But I would think that the wrong side of your work. Inherently, once you're in a job, globally, the phenomenon is it's a demanding work environment. But if you enjoy your job, it doesn't look demanding. It looks like a passion that you indulged in. Eventually, everyone wants to help shape the way the country works, the way economic policies are designed. So I can say from my sphere or my vantage point of being an economist, that for me the greatest satisfaction is whatever I've learned, whatever I've put through in my research becomes applicable to the broader design for the country's policy making. I think that gives you a complete satisfaction, that you're not just helping a small set of people, but your research and your work becomes very relevant at the government level, or perhaps a budding Nobel laureate can also say that it becomes more practical and applicable at the global level. All countries, most of the countries, member countries, India definitely being a member. So how we can go about is, you need to have perhaps a specialization within economics, say in development economics. The reason being, World Bank's scope of coverage and work is more to do with the socio-economic goals in terms of eradicating poverty, hunger, increasing the employability of the population in the respective countries. So as an economist with a basic degree of development economics comes in handy, because you can then join the assignments of the World Bank, which actually make a design of all these social goals, MDG, Millennium Development Goals and so on, how to addressing the health, education, employment, hunger, poverty, eradication. So these become very handy, because then you're able to understand, grasp the problems much better as an economist, because you've specialized somewhat in the development economics part of it. And those analyses then come in as very critical inputs for the teams from, say, World Bank. IMF is more into the financial and the banking and those kind of parts of it. So IMF and World Bank becomes organizations which have a twin set of goals, of course, of developing the global monetary system, as well as the socio-economic aspect, which is typically spearheaded by the World Bank, and closer home by Asian Development Bank. The later stage, if you have a project which is more on pure economics related, I think that comes in more handy when you are at a later stage of your life applying for maybe an assignment at IMF, or if you're going to be a part of regular IMF team, you need to have some basic capabilities demonstrated either through research, very strong research background, which has applied component to it. But I think even the international organizations like IMF, World Bank, ADB provide you very many and ample opportunities to practice what you've learned, both in your monetary economics, your development economics, your, also for demographics. There are streams in economics which help you understand and learn more about the population of the country. International degree may help because it helps you learn, the other aspect of the developed economies and the modern kind of, streams of the subject. So I'm not too sure whether I can say with 200% conviction that it's only international degree that will help you get a better job or so on. Perceptions matter. What you are able to deliver at the job matters. Your mind's ability. I think a degree from any place should not technically matter. It's your mind that matters. I think just be proactive, just be dynamic, there's never an age to stop.